Good evening. How are you doing? Awesome. I'm very fast. But please, what inspired you to be here today? But before that, please tell us more about yourself.
Okay, I'm Peter Tim. I did business administration, UPSC. I've done it from Google, so when I saw the program, I decided to join, and then I want to do practical. It's not about only theory, so that's why I'm here.
Interesting. And what inspired you to be here today?
Yeah, just as I said, I want to know just a few days ago, the Minister for Communications said data is the next goal. And so 2 years ago, I studied data analytics, program run by Google online. So I have the certificate already. I want to get practical with it. So that's why I'm here. I want to know what you offer and then how I can move.
Impressive. Prepared to be wild. We have a lot to offer you. Hey, Abati, I sound so gracious. Jude, I'm a lady. Change my voice. Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Doing very well. It's all right. I'm Felix, final year student from KUST.
Are you coming from KUST?
Yes.
Came all the way from Kumasi for the workshop, or you stay here?
I came for the workshop. Yes.
What inspired you to be part of the workshop today?
I have a fair idea of data analytics, and I know every business use data. So I wanted to get to know more about the practical aspect of data analytics. Love marketing, I love sales. So that is my focus. I'll be happy and I'm glad to get into that field.
Impressive. What are you studying into?
Business information technology.
A part of business school?
Yes. Yes. BIT. Yes. They brought information technology separate. We have BIT and information technology. Yes. And amazing. That's been amazing so far. I see we are adding business courses together with the IT. We are putting together. That's been amazing so far. For me, I love the course.
Do you think the courses entail practically, if you look at the real world right now and what the world is offering, the information that they're giving to you guys in terms of your studies and your education, like it's going to help you outside school? Is it going to really help like 100%?
It's never 100. It's never 100. I feel like for there, you have the theoretical aspect and a bit of the practical.
You have other friends in other business schools in other universities, right? Have you had the opportunity to engage them to find out, I'm just trying to put KUST on the top right now. Do you think like the school is doing much better to help you guys have more practical education to graduate and become like some good students and good corporate employees out there?
Oh, yes. KUST is actually doing this. They are always bringing new things, whatever innovation that they would do for us to improve ourselves. They are bringing it. Recently, they added AI to our courses. It wasn't part of it, but now they are
adding AI to your courses.
Yes. So for me in final year, it's optional that I can do AI, or if I don't want to do it, but I really want to do so, I will. But for those the continuous level, which is level 100, level 300, it's automatically going to be a part of the courses that they offer. So they're actually doing their best to make things happen.
And thank you so much for joining me all the way from KUST to this place. We are happy to have you here. You're welcome. Okay, I'm told we have over 40 of our people joining us online. Okay, please, my online people, are you there? Can I see some emojis to be sure you guys are here with us? Is that an emoji? All right. Oh, nice. Interesting. You guys are here. Oh, the person is laughing at me. Okay, interesting. Nice meeting you all and nice having all of you. Welcome to the Center for Business Analysis. Today we are going to be having a very interesting conversation with four data analytics professionals who have been doing amazing things in the world of business. And we are so happy to also have you join us. If any of you have anything to say, irrespective of you introducing yourself, letting us know what inspired you to be part of the workshop today, we would want you to unmute yourself and then, share that with us. Okay. I can see Abubakar Sadek, you see here, Akoto, Alex, Ama, Amponsa, Josephine. I can see Makafu is really liking, Akoto is liking. I can see all of you. Anita, Senor, Stephen Obey, nice one. Patricia, oh, and then this can come I see. That's nice. Joyce, how many of you want to talk? Introduce yourself. Let us know what you do, the industry you find yourself. Are you a graduate? Are you a student? How many of you want to talk, please?
So, good afternoon.
Okay.
I'm Senor.
Have somebody.
Senor.
Someone is on the call. Can you please talk?
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon.
Senor,
Yeah.
can you unmute yourself?
I'll get unmuted. Can you hear me? Can
I
you hear
think
me?
he's talking, or she.
It's a he. Can you hear me?
Hi, Senor, your mic is off. Okay, cool.
It's a he. Can you hear me?
Hi, Senor.
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Right. How are
Hello.
you
Can
doing?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Talk.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So I'm an administrative officer with the Ghana Library Authority. But then I'm also a chartered procurement specialist. So I'm looking forward to see how best the data analytics can enhance my professional portfolio and also make me appreciate numbers and data. Yeah, that's just all about it.
Akoto, Alex, we have like 64 of you here. Guys, Akoto, Alex, we have like 64. Okay, I can see Akoto. He sees, hello everyone. I can see you.
Hello, good evening.
Is someone
Good
on the
evening.
line?
Good evening.
Well, you can speak, please. Those who want to speak, I think Rejoice spoke. I saw Boate. Akoto says, hello everyone. I am Eyuru Akoto and a tech educationist. Sorry. I am more into AI, but had a convo with my mentor and he told me to delve into data analytics. He actually sent me this video. Wow, we're happy to have you here and kudos to your mentor. He did a very great job of getting you to be part of us. Well done, and we hope to have you learn so much from us today. Welcome. We are going to take our last person. Who else want to introduce him or himself? Please, 64 of you, kindly share where you're coming from, who you are, and the business you. Oh, flyer. Akoto, I saw that. Don't worry. That's okay.
Just in here.
Just in.
Okay,
Right.
I'm just a researcher. And then with the work I do, we use data analysis a lot. I recently obtained certification in data analysis essential with University of Boston, Texas. That's USA. But I'm also currently doing GIS with University of Ghana. So I'm hoping to have more understanding in these areas.
I couldn't hear you, please.
So should I repeat myself?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm just a researcher, and I do data analysis a lot with the research work. I also have certification in data analysis essential with University of Austin, Texas. And I'm currently doing my master's in GIS, which also involves some aspect of data analysis at the University of Ghana. So I'm hoping to learn more today. Yeah.
Right. You're welcome. Thank you so much for that. We are pleased to have you here. Thank you. Okay, we have 69 of you online. Welcome to the Center for Business Analysis. Today is going to be a very memorable day. We are having our data analytics workshop, and it's a very good evening. As you can see, most of you are very interactive, and today's theme is the era of data analysis, driving businesses growth, innovation, and smarter decisions. Today, we're going to be talking about the era of data analytics, driving business growth, innovation, and smarter decisions. Now, before we dive in, please take a moment to ensure that your microphones, especially those online, is off. Those with us, please put your phones on D&D, or it's the same thing. Do not disturb and everyone. Okay, so unpacking the massive power of data, as most of you have shared with us. A lot of you find yourself in that space. We are pleased to educate with you, let you know more practical skills in the data analysis business that you can equip yourself with. So that is what we are going to be doing here today. But before we dive into that, let us welcome on stage our Chief Operations and Administrative Manager to have us welcomed properly. Right. Can we give you a round of applause? Thank you. A very good evening to all. Good evening to our facilitators and our participants, those here in person and those joining us online as well. Today, I'm a bit tensed, if I should so put it, because my lecturer is here watching me. Nonetheless, we have to do what we have to do, and so it is my pleasure as the Chief Administrator of the Center for Business Analysis to warmly welcome you all to today's Data Analytics Workshop. On behalf of the entire CBA team, I sincerely thank you for choosing to be part of this important learning experience. Your presence here today reflects a shared commitment to growth, innovation, and professional excellence. Today's workshop is centered on the theme, the era of data analytics, driving business growth, innovation, and smarter decisions. The theme is highly relevant in today's fast-changing business environment, where organizations increasingly depend on data to improve efficiency, understand customer needs, drive innovation, and make informed strategic decisions. We are living in a time where data has become one of the most valuable assets of every successful organization. Businesses are able to analyze and solve problems, improve performance, and remain competitive. Data analytics is no longer just an advantage. It has become essential for business growth and sustainability. This workshop has therefore been carefully designed to equip participants with practical knowledge, relevant tools, and valuable insights that can be applied directly within their organizations and professional career. We encourage all participants, both online and in person, to actively engage, collaborate, network, and take full advantage of these learning opportunities. At the Center for Business Analysis, our goal goes beyond training. We are committed to empowering professionals with industry-relevant skills that create real impact to support smarter decision-making within organizations. Once again, you are all warmly welcome, and I wish you a highly engaging, insightful, and successful workshop. Thank you very much for your attention. And so I'll hand over to our MC so that we will set the ball rolling. Thank you very much, and please have a wonderful time. Thank you so much, Ms. Ma. Once again, you are all welcome to the Center for Business Analysis, where today we are going to be diving into the era of data analytics, the importance of it in our businesses, and innovation. So we're going to dive very straight into our first speaker. He's of the person of Mr. Bright Osei-Bedu, business and strategy, with over 10 years experience in analytics, business intelligence, and monitoring and evaluation. He has delivered data-driven solutions to organizations including Deloitte, Solitarian Network, Ghana Revenue Authority, and Tema Luby Oil. Is it Luby Oil or Luby Oil? Currently, he's currently the research and development lead at the implementers. He provides insights that drive program design, donor engagement, and policy advocacy, and holds advanced qualifications in business and data analytics, PMP, BIDA, and Google Data Analytics. Please let's hear from Mr. Bright with a round of applause. We can do it better.
Good evening, everyone. Very excited to be part of this section, this workshop, and we are here to talk about data. Data may seem just a simple word, but very powerful. All right. So what I'm presenting on why data-driven coaches consistently outperform traditional firms. And those online, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
The line breaks.
I'm getting signal that you can hear me. So the reality today is that the organizations that are shining, that are excelling, are not you visit an office or an organization, they will ask you to enter your details. When you are making a registration, your details are being collected. So data has never been a problem because data is being generated every day, every minute. We can generate data from this section. We have participants that are joining online and participants that are here with me doing face-to-face. We can do from the same data collection, we can segregate to know the number of males, the number of females, their background, their profession. So data has never been a problem, but the problem is how to analyze these data and generate insight from these data. And that's what we are going to talk about today. So data-driven culture, when we say an organization is a data-driven culture, what does that mean? These days, every organization claims to be data-driven. When you ask them, they say they are being, they are data-driven organization. But is that the case? Is that the reality? The fact that they collect data, does that mean that they are data-driven organization? No, that's not the fact. Organizations that are data-driven are organizations that collect data, analyze the data, generate insight from the data, and then make decisions from this data. So they are being moved by the insight from the data. So the fact that you collect data does not mean you are a data-driven organization. And these days, when we look at some of the organizations, they collect data, all right, but decisions are being made at the top. We have what we call the highest paid person opinion, or the experts. So they put a huge amount of money to some experts to make decisions for them. But is that a data-driven culture or organization? The reality is that no, they are not data-driven organizations. Also, there are a lot of organizations that are actually making insight from data. And anything that is being driven, or any organization that is being driven by data, there's no argument. You don't argue much, because it's not about what you know or what you think. It's about what the data says. So there's no argument. And as we always say, data don't lie. All right. So we are moved by what the data says. And there are some places too that what the data says might contradict what the expert says. And based on that, which side do they fall on? Is it what the data says or what the expert says? So the fact that you collect data in your organization is not a data-driven organization. You need to collect the data, you need to analyze it, even clean it where necessary, generate insight from there. It doesn't end there, but you make decisions from the data insight. That will make you a data-driven organization. And data has been transforming organizations a lot. These days, when you look at churches, they collect data. But if they are able to analyze it well, they can know the programs that the youth attend most. They can know the unemployment rates within the youth brackets. They can know those that are married, those that are still single, their educational background or qualification. They can know all these things. These days, when you visit a church or you go to a church, your information are being collected. But is it analyzed? No. So churches can also, or any organization can be data-driven, not necessarily businesses or industries. All right, religious bodies can be data-driven as well. And when we say the traditional environment, what does that mean? Traditional organizations are basically organizations that do not rely on insight for their decision making. For instance, Maame Enterprise at Medina, or Maame Supermarket at Abokobi. The owner of that local shop will tell you that they've been busy throughout the weekend, but when you ask the person that which product were you able to sell more on Fridays, can they tell you? They can't tell you. When you visit Maame Supermarket and you ask the shop owner that which product are you able to sell more on Mondays, can they tell you? They cannot. They are making sales all right, but they are not able to gather them to organizations that analyze their data. And you realize that these organizations are reducing wastage. They are reducing operational costs. So the moving the environment, the transport industry, both Uber, they can tell you the traffic, arises most. Or because they collect data, they would have data to fall on. So the transport industry are doing well. They are able to even analyze their customer segmentation to know each of their customers, their background, where they're coming from, and address them tailoredly. So this is the reality on the ground. Recommendations to you based on the data. So when everybody says customer service, they want to improve their customer service. But if you don't analyze this data, they're able to address their customers well. Even in the financial sector, when you see and ask them, what was the decision that informed water? What informed that? Was it because an expert gave you that big organizations do make decisions that are not you because they feel they are the experts, they are the decision makers, or they have to show power. But is that the case? Some industries set up a branch and you need to provide data to your sponsors, because that you can't just by mouth and tell them that the program is doing well. No. When they get $1,000, they expect you to come up with data. And that's when you need to do impact analysis of that. So when you allow decisions to scale are based on data environment, decisions are being driven by data, not just intuition, but also think it's possible to be done. So that's the reality on the ground. Now let's look at the difference between data-driven organizations and the traditional firms that do not use data. And you realize that in the data-driven organizations, how do they make decisions? And also, so the traditional firms, they depend on what you call intuition, guesswork. They just guess because they are not collecting data. So their decisions are just based on guessing. Guesswork. That's how their decisions are being made. But on the other hand, the data-driven firms, they make decisions based on evidence from the data. After analyzing the data, after generating insight from the data, that's when they make decisions. So it's not about what people think, intuitions, or what the people say, but rather evidence-based decisions. Also, the traditional term, they use what we call static reports. Some of them even collect the information all right. But imagine when you visit an organization or you visit a shop where records are being written on a notebook or on a paper. Do you believe that such information will be analyzed? No. What happens if the paper is stolen or someone steals the paper? It needs to be recorded electronically, and that gives the hope that such information will be analyzed and then make decisions from that. But when you look at the data-driven firms, they develop what you call interactive dashboards. They display, which will then you can compare year on year, quarter on quarter, and cannot track. Imagine. So, for instance, I was having a conversation with someone let's look at, for instance, Hisense. Hisense, we don't know whether it was just coincidence or it was being driven by data. We all understand that June, July, that's where there's a rainy season. So the weather becomes very cool. If the weather is very cool, who will buy air conditioning? Nobody will buy. So their sales will then fall within this period. So if you're a smart organization, what will you do? Before the rainy season, you say, let me do promotion to increase your sales, to increase your revenue. So if you're able to increase your revenue pre-June, July, that means that revenue that you accumulated can cover that rainy season. It's not a smart decision. And all these things are based on data. So if you are running a shop, an organization, based on the data, you can forecast that within this period, my sales, this is what is going to affect me. So based on that, let me do promotional activities, or let me do this and this and that to catch up. And you know, you are going to make it with that based on the data. So you are not just analyzing your data, but you are actually making decisions from your data. Also, in the traditional environment, they resist change. They will tell you, this is how it has been done. This is how we do it, and we are making it. So they are all resisting change. But in the data-driven environment, they improve. They are able to improve if you don't to measure what you have. How do you improve?
No,
You don't measure. You don't collect data. Even if you collect the data, you don't analyze the data. How do you improve? How do you know the fast-moving commodity? How do you know what your customers are saying? All right. So data analytics has become part of it. Asking are based on it. They have sports analysts that are able to analyze their post-match for them using data analytics. And the ones that are not using that, they will tell you is the juju that has been working for them. Or operations. They don't even say juju, they say operations. Can operations help you all the time? No. We are in a fast-moving environment and we all need to adapt. If you don't adapt, you will lag behind. So why data-driven organizations outperform the traditional firms? It's because they are able to make better decisions. Better decisions. And these decisions are not intuition-based better decisions, but rather evidence-based decisions that are being generated from the inside, from the data analysis. They are also able to expose weak performance. They are able to identify you when your boss. What will be the first thing that your boss will ask you? What shows that you've worked well? And what is the thing that shows? It's the data. So you don't go empty-handed. You go and tell your boss that this and this and this, based on this performance, based on this KPI that I've achieved, you need to increase or triple my salary for me in your data. What will be the good zero with data? All right, because you are able to argue, you are able to prove your point. Also, why data-driven organizations outperform is because there's faster problem identification. They're in a competitive environment. As they say, global village. So the slack, the least your rival or your competitor will affect you. What they call market share in your retail, and what can they do? If they want to do advertisement, marketing promotion, they are all based on data. So you can't just say, let's do this and everybody follows. Because if you fail, you are actually causing financial loss to the organization. So if they want to do visibility activities, they do data analytics. They have to collect the data, analyze it, and know what their customers or their consumers are saying. All right. Also improve customer behavior. These days, if I'm a customer, you don't treat me nicely, what do? I move to a different organization or a different producer. So you need to understand your customers. How do you understand them? You need to understand them by responding to their feedbacks. All right. That's how come these days organization would send you a forms to review them, provide recommendations and all those things to them. And it doesn't sit with them. The organization that stays with them without, following it up with analytics, they just, lose everything. So customers, they become decisive. The least mistake that you do, they will move to a different organization or a different producer. So you need to improve on your customer behavior. Understand them before you can improve on that. Then operational efficiency, wastage. There are a lot of organizations that are causing financial loss because this is what the people say. If your boss tells you that the sales is good, everybody buying your product, and your boss says sales is good. Sales is good. Who are you to argue? And what do you even argue on? Because you don't have the facts. You don't have the data. But if you have the data, you can argue with your boss, challenging that, no, that's not the case. That's not the reality. The reality is that we are losing customers. Last month, we had 120 customers. Now they've declined to 60. About 50% gone. All right? So that's how it is. Then you are also able to attract investors and donors. Because if you have the data, you are able to attract investors. Imagine you are an SME or a startup, you are starting afresh, you need sponsors, all right? You need these angel investors. When you go to them, the first thing that they will ask you is, where's your data? What shows that if I invest in you, I will put my capital or my investment to you. You need that data. Someone is giving you about $50,000. You can't just say the person has given you a grant of $50,000. You are going to spend the money. No, you need to provide the person with data, information, and not just data, but there's some data. I remember some time ago when I asked one of the nurses, so what happens to the records that you keep of the patients? You don't analyze them. They don't. But if they don't analyze, they can then know the peak period, the time that a lot of people come there. But when you ask them, they will say morning. They'll tell you morning or Mondays. But is that the case? They will analyze it and it will contradict that. Even me, myself, some time ago, I told myself that my expenditure, most of them is into food. I'm spending more on buying food. That was a guesswork. I said, okay, let me write it. Put pen and paper and write where my expenditure goes. And know where it was going. I won't tell you. Do your own and find out. All right. So if you do a proper data collection and analysis, that's where you know where most of your money goes to. Not just what I think, what you believe. And also the barrier that most of the people resist to change. They don't want to change because they will tell you this is how we have been doing it. This is how it has been working for us. And they are they are familiar with the environment. So they think that, oh, while it's working for us, let's stay with it. No. If you stay with it, you are not going to improve. And low digital literacy, and that's a fact. How many organizations understand this digital literacy? How many of them can analyze data? A friend was telling me, you need a new gold mine. You don't trust it. You don't need that skill. You need it because you also collect data. You need to analyze it. And that's why you need to enroll in a course of data analytics. It's a mandatory, it's a requirement. It's a requirement. If you are here, you need to enroll in a data analytics course here before the year end. Inconsistent reporting system. Because the people don't know, how do they even report? They will just put some pie chart, some, kind of line chart or column chart, which does not, excuse my language, doesn't make kind of sense. Because this is what they know. They can't go beyond that. So you need to learn it. You need to enroll in the course, analyze the data. Infographics, information and graph. These days, people who are not used to test, you can't just come and be reading text to them. They are able to pick more quickly from graphs and charts. They are able to understand it well. That's how decision makers make their decisions. Now, data-driven culture, you don't need it. So for you or your organization, you don't need expensive systems. You don't need expensive system. All right, let me demystify that fact that you don't need expensive system. You don't need complex software. You can start with Excel. All right, you can start with Excel, Power BI, Tableau, Kobo Toolbox, Excel. It's not need to ask.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prince. Please, can we do better for him? Okay, so now that we have understood the foundations of data analytics, we will dive into our next speaker, who is going to show us how to navigate data-driven creativity, how analytics is shaping modern industries. She's of the person of Nana Abe Ashon. She's a communications and analytics professional with a strong passion for using data to drive smarter communication, business growth, and digital engagement. Her experience spans corporate communications, digital enablement, and customer-focused analytics. She is a growing, interested person in organizations that can combine creativity with data-driven decision-making. She is currently in charge of digital enablement in MTN Ghana sales and distribution department. Please let's welcome Miss Abe online. She's going to be joining us and speaking to us online. Please can we give you a round of applause? Miss Abe, are you here with us? Please can you hear us? If you can hear us, please speak so we can start.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
If you whilst we wait for her to join.
Yeah, we can hear.
Hello, good evening.
I know.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
You have some questions.
Judith, can you hear me? I'm speaking now. Can you hear me? Speaking now.
Yes, please. We can hear you, but please speak a bit louder.
Okay, all right, sure. So I'm speaking on top of my voice, so I hope.
Speak a bit louder.
Okay, all right. Mhm. All right, good evening, and thank you very much for that wonderful introduction.
Right.
I am so excited to join you today, but please pardon me for not being there in person. I would have loved to be there, but I don't know what happened. I can't even excuse myself for not being there in person, but I will try and make this as interactive as possible. I don't know if some of you can see my picture, but the way you see me in the picture is exactly how I look. And the profile they read, the picture you saw there is exactly how I look. So just picture that, what you saw, and that's me. So today I'm just here to speak about data-driven creativity. Now, how do we communicate effectively with data? Okay, so I don't know who's moving my slide, but can we kindly move to the next slide? All right. So this is just to give you a background of what things used to be. I'm sure for those who are Gen Zs, maybe they wouldn't be familiar with some of the things that used to happen in the past. I'm trying to speak like I'm very old, but yeah, let's just. So initially, when it comes to creativity, all you think about is it's something that is intuitive. So I just feel like this is how it's supposed to be. I'm using my guts to do this based on my preference, based on my taste, based on my interest. I want to start a shop. Or based on my experience over the years, I've seen that a lot of school children use this road. So when I put up a candy shop here, I think it's going to be very successful. So based on our experiences, we just start businesses, we just start doing things that we think would be successful with no data backing it. Okay. And then back then, when it came to creativity as well, we're looking at a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. Please, my slide has changed, so if you can kindly go back for me. Okay, yeah, we are looking at a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. So I remember it was just radio and then newspaper. I'm sure before my time, it was probably just newspapers or probably just radio. I don't know what was happening then, but I met radio, newspaper, and television. Even television, we didn't have so many options. You just listen to GTV or watch GTV, listen to Unique FM, and that was it for us. And it was one size fits all. Whether you speak Chiga, like they are just speaking one language, whether you get it or not, they've shared the information. You have to go and find a way to decode that information. Okay. Now things have changed. There's continuous signal, so there's analytics everywhere. We are getting real-time information on things. We are knowing more. We are getting to know more about our customers, our users, what's our customers' preference, and even the customers themselves are constantly changing. So how do organizations or businesses also change along or move along with these customers? And So you see what we have put on my left of the slide, where we have the 4 decades of creative decisions. So initially we had the mass media, one message, millions of people. Then we moved to websites. In terms of creativity, now people were always developing websites. Then we moved to the funnel where there's personalization and then recommendations. So grouping our customers or our audience into different cohorts to say that based on probably their age, I believe that we have to do social media advertising for these people. Based on their age, I believe that we should put this particular advert in a newspaper because this will suit those ages. And then now there's the generative and predictive AI that is even able to tell you what to look out for in future, what's your customers or what people will be looking out for in future. So now you see that there's people are even moving away from traditional media and there's a lot of content creation going on. Now, where does data meet imagination? So a lot of people believe that to be a data analyst or to take this course, you need to be somebody who has a very strong mathematics background. And if you don't have that kind of background, there's no way you can go into analytics. But then now, analytics goes beyond like maths, okay? Everybody in the art space. So if you're a marketer, if you're a communication person, if you're even an artist and a musician, data is very important to you. So a space like music, now we have like Spotify. I'm always on Spotify because Spotify just kind of knows the kind of music I like. So even when I'm done with my playlist, sometimes it just plays music along that kind of journey for me. And so when I leave my office, I can just play my type of music from my office straight to my home, and I'm feeling very comfortable in my car. And Spotify is able to do this based on analytics. It's been able to analyze what I listen to over a period of time, and now it gives me that kind of journal. Okay. Now, when it comes to somebody in the advertising space, how is this important to you? Analytics is able to help you predict, and then it helps you in targeting. So you group your audience into cohorts, like I said. They're looking at them based on age groups. Which people like Kivo Pepe? I can bet old people don't really like Kivo Pepe because my mom would like, this thing is so hot. She's constantly complaining. Young people, you go to the Indomie joints and they're like, give me more Pepe. So then you know that, no, based on this feedback we are getting or based on what our data is saying, a lot of young people would love Kivo Pepe. So when the University of Ghana is having their SLC week, I would probably go and put up my stand there because they may be interested, or because of the data, you know, they would be interested in buying Kivo Pepe. Okay. Then products and design. When it comes to that, you know that now you can do A/B testing to know that this will work for this group. This particular thing will fit this group more than that group. And so we can actually leave analytics in everything we do. Okay. And basically, it transforms everything. I think as our first speaker has spoken so much about traditional and then the modern day organizations and what they are looking out for. So I wouldn't want to repeat that. But then basically, my point is to say that you just need to have the interest, and you also need to be curious enough to learn analytics, to use it in your everyday life, not necessarily because you are studying computer science in the university or because you studied elective maths and analytics has got to do with numbers. So, but irrespective of where you find yourself, like I said, even in the music space, the entertainment space, there's still analytics there, and it's going to be very useful to you if you jump onto the wagon. So moving on.
Miss Abe.
Yeah. Can you hear me? I asked that we move to the next slide. Okay, so let me just speak to this. Okay, so here I just want to share my journey with you just to bring a personal touch to this conversation. So I completed uni with a degree in communication, and then from there I did a few media work in a lot of media houses. Then I moved to telecommunication. And my first role here was a customer service role. So basically I was interacting with customers. How do I help you? So that's MTN. You walk in, hello, good morning. How can I help you? That was the routine. And at a point, I worked in a certain branch and I realized that the people just kept coming in so one customer today, he comes, I've blocked my Momo pin. The next day, same customer, I've blocked my Momo pin. In my mind, I'm like, why does one customer keep coming back almost every week? So at a point, I started asking questions. I would send in my queries to the back office to say, why do people come here every day for this kind of things? Can we simplify the process? Can we do something about it? Eventually, they realized that since I like asking questions, I have to come and solve the questions I've been asking. So they put me at the back office to come and work on operations. So now I started retail operations. So at this point, this is me. I just went in with communication background. Now I'm going to ask so many questions, probably thanks to my communication background. And now they're like, okay, since you feel we have a problem, come and solve the problem. Now they've put me here. And I have to, now the same questions I was asking, why do we have so many customers coming in for same swap? Why do we have so many customers coming in for this particular? Now I had to start answering those questions. But how can I answer the question? I'm just one person and we have over 60 branches across the country. So how am I going to get this answered? So at a point, I'm like, no, I have to create something, probably some reporting lines. Like I started working on things just to ensure that I was answering the same questions I was asking them when I was at the service center. So I started that way. And with time, I realized that, okay, I was becoming more analytical because then the data comes in, I have to put it in Excel. And then my boss will say, come and present what you have discovered. You're the one who was asking the questions. So then I had to find ways to make meaning out of the data I was getting from the various service centers. So I got to a point, I became more like the analytics person for the team. And I really didn't have any background there. All I had was my communication. Okay. So then I thought, okay, what other things do I like? I wanted to do my master's. So I just thought, okay, I like communication. I'm in sales. So I might as well so for MTN, our customer care sits under sales. So let me just go and do marketing. So I decided to go and do marketing. I got back to work. I was doing the same thing. Then I think this thing, please forgive me. I used AI. AI decided to swap something for me. But then from my master's, I decided to do the data analytics course. So I was online reading about where can I take this course, and the CBA popped up. So I'm like, okay, let me reach out to CBA. I don't remember who I had my first conversation with, but I remember the first thing I said, I don't like maths. So that was the first thing I said. The person was like, you don't need to like maths to do data. And I said, I'm scared of numbers. And the person was like, we'll walk you through everything. In fact, I came in with so much doubt. Okay. But honestly, like I said, I can't even remember who the customer service rep I spoke to was, but the person was so nice. And I told my boss that, boss, I'm going to do this course. I think I told my line manager that I wanted to take this course. And she said, okay, you can go ahead and take it. I think what you are doing, this will really help us here. So as they say, buga buga, those times, what I was doing there, I was just doing anything anyhow because I just wanted to get questions answered. And so I come out with the data. I show them this is it. It's so raw, like there's nothing exciting about it. But of course, it was okay. It was just me sharing insights. Then I took the data analytics course. And when I came back, I realized that my way of doing things changed because now I can actually build a full dashboard. Like my boss really appreciated it because single point of view, he just would click on this and then he's seen everything happen in all the spaces. So from there, they're like, okay, there was a new team that had come up and they wanted somebody to join the team support and I was moved there. I was assigned to digital enablement. Then eventually it changed to data and smartphone because unfortunately for me, I went to meet my boss in CBA. I said, not my line manager, my senior manager at CBA. He was also taking a course there. So when he met me, he's like, Maame, now you mastered this thing. So you are going to do all the analytics in this department. So he just put me there. So I heard someone saying that they want to go into sales analytics. So basically, I do sales analytics, but I focus mainly on active data subscribers because it's MTN, and then smartphones. Okay. So that is basically what I do. So when you come now, we have a heat map. We have partners who use those heat map to identify areas that we need more smartphones, areas that we have more basic phones, and how they can go there and then upsell smartphones to these customers. After I completed that course and started my new role, I realized that I really love to talk. Okay, because already I'm a communication person. And so I started asking myself, how do I improve this? How do I marry my human parts, like my human relations? Because I love to talk, I love to engage people, stakeholder management. I also like the data bit of it. So how do I marry the two? And then my boss says, Mami, let's go and do the business analysis course. I went to do the business analysis course, and here's where, like, I'm here now. My point is, if I have been able to do it, because I think a lot of people know by now that those who run and go and do things like communication, journalism, most of us, we hate maths. Me, I'll tell you for a fact. I mean, people look at me, my mates, they look at me and they're like, Mami, how are you even doing what you do? Because everybody knows that back in SHS, I remember I had a moment where, in fact, in uni, when I was doing Quanti, there was a moment where my lecturer was lecturing, and everything he was saying to me, it was numbers, everything was looking like fish. Like, some of the numbers were looking like fish to me. Like, it was so strange. I had to raise my hand and say, Sir, what's your teaching? I don't understand. Instead of this man explaining everything to me, he decided that in the lecture hall, I don't know if anyone is at Central University or anyone went to Central here, we had this big auditorium where we go to service. That's where we used to have our Quanti class, because it was everybody. And the man was like, since you don't understand, carry your chair. And I was sitting at the back. It was the most embarrassing moment of my life. I carried my seat from the back to the front, because from where he is standing, he thinks that because of where I'm sitting, I don't get it. But honestly, I just didn't get what the man was teaching me, because I didn't like numbers. But like I said, the person I spoke to at CBA, the encouragement the person gave me, and when I came into MTN, the kind of work I was doing over the period, I just gained interest, and then I decided to marry my two interest areas. So I decided to study business analysis, and it's been very helpful to me. Okay, what brings out creativity? So my boss will tell you, I always go to my boss because he's like a mentor. So my boss will tell you that, Mami, when you pull the data, or whoever, when you pull the data and you come and tell us, okay, so we have 30 active agents. Out of these 30 active agents, 10 of them are using smartphones. 20 of them are not using smartphones. And you end your report there. You've not said anything. You've only shared information, and that is not insights driven. Now, how do you marry creativity and data storytelling? You should be able to define your objectives properly. So you realize there are a lot of people who are into analytics and they just want to sit in their corner. What they want to do is to just work on the numbers, and they don't want to talk about it. But then it also derails the input of whatever reports that you have worked on, because you can have all the data, but if you're not able to communicate this data effectively, how would leadership or management make decisions out of the data that you have worked on or the data that you have mined? And so there's a process of which you can tell good stories with the data. So first, you should be able to define your objective. What is the problem you are solving? That's where you even start from. So I have noticed that so many people walk into my service center. So I want to decrease the number of walk-in in the service center. I want to give customers power. I want to give them that convenience. They should sit in their house and have things done. Now, you should know the kind of customers you have. So you want to give your customers power. Have you looked at the kind of customers you have? Are they literate? Are they semi-educated? What kind of customers do you have? And would this your solution be relevant to the kind of customers you have? Then now you gather your information, you clean your data. So now, of course, because you're looking at so you have to get everything about your customer. How many people walk into our service centers? these people who walk into our service centers, who are they? Are they students? Are they workers? What do they do? So, if they are workers, then that means there are people who are always in a hurry. They want things done quickly. They don't want to come and sit in your office for 1 hour to get something done. Okay, all these things are very important. So you gather all the information that's going to answer the problem that you stated in your point 1. Then now you analyze your data. That's when you're identifying the trends. So we've noticed that during vacations, our smartphone numbers go up because all the students have come home and they probably have logged onto their phones. And so you realize that the smartphone numbers would go up. Obviously, if they are using smartphones, that means they would likely use data. So your data numbers will go up. You realize revenue may go up as well because they are using data. Those are the kind of trends you should be looking at. Okay. Then you identify the key insights. So you can just say, okay, so we've realized that in January, when do people vacate? In July, students vacate. And when they come home, we realize that our data revenue goes up. Based on that, we can bring in new smartphones or we can start this initiative. At this point, we are giving insights. But if you just go like, we realize that in July, our data revenue goes up. Now the question will be, and so what? You're just giving me information. And that's what communication actually does. Okay. So where I came from, my background, is just to give information. So it just gives you the information. This is what's happened here, there. That is it. But then someone who now has the background of data, I wouldn't end my story at just telling you what has happened. I will go the extra mile to let you know that this is what has happened. This is the impact that that thing has had. And for that reason, this is what I believe. So now you recommend something and then there'll be a call to action. So based on that, I believe this and this is what we can do. This is what we can do to increase our smartphone uptake within this period. Or because we get a spike in July, that means when the students go back to school, our smartphone numbers will drop. How do we ensure that during the period that the students are out in school, how do we ensure that we are still going to maintain the data revenue we had when the students were at home? And then you come up with solutions. That is when you have finished your story. You have told a full story, data storytelling. It's a process. So you're not leaving it halfway, you're not leaving it at point 3. And it's as for me, I'm an analyst who have finished my work. And that is why I believe it's good for everybody to have the data analytics background. Because then if you have it and your data guy provides you with the data and you are able to interpret it, you are able to make recommendations, you are able to communicate it effectively, and know that different communication goes out to different people. When you are presenting at the management level, what they want to see is absolutely different. I heard the first speaker say that. He said that they want to see visuals, they want to see charts, they just want numbers. They are not interested in plenty grammar. They just want, what's the number saying? What can we do to gain revenue? Those are the kind of things they want to hear. When you're speaking to the people who actually drive the numbers, so for us, we have field agents who actually, you see them in yellow walking around. The way you would communicate the same thing to management will be absolutely different from the way you would want to communicate it to the guys we have on the field. So it's very important to always marry your creativity with your analytical skills to get the best results. So you realize that in organizations where they don't have one person who has both skills, you realize that they have someone who is doing analytics and there's another person who would make meaning out of the data and go and communicate that to management as well. Please move on. So at this point, this is what I'm leaving you with. Data tells us what people did. Okay. So obviously data will tell you what somebody did. Then creativity asks what they could do next. So like I said, creativity brings out the insights, the call to actions and stuff like that. Okay. Now the winning teams pair both analyst and creator working from the same dashboard. So we have some analysts, and when they design your dashboard, you're asking, where's the life in this dashboard? Because all they care about is just giving you the numbers. But then I'll go and I'm like, this thing looks a bit, too boring. Can we add a little color here? as Steve will say, Maame and colors. Can we add a little color here? Can we add that? And the dashboard will come out looking so beautiful and nice. So I put this picture there. This is a picture, AI generated picture. I heard a lot of you saying AI. I love AI as well. So this is my AI generated picture. And I said, can you show when creativity is marrying analytics? And this is what it brought up. And this is a YouTube content creator. I'm also a YouTube content creator anyways. So when you post your video, you also have to go to your Google Analytics to check what is happening there. So you look at your data and then you're able to tell that I posted this on relationship and people reacted to it more than when I post about math and science. I believe my audience are people who are into relationship topics. Can I focus more on relationship topics? And this is the peak period. I realized they all, like most or maybe 50% of my audience watched this video on a weekend in the evening. So the best time for me to post relationship content will be Saturday evenings, weekend evenings. And so where we are now, creativity and analytics go hand in hand. And so if you are at a point in your life that you're asking yourself, well, based on my interest, based on what I'm currently doing, based on my educational background, do I really need to do data analytics? How is this even important to me? Okay, Maame Ama is here to tell you that it is very important for you to go ahead and take your analytics course, because it will go a long way to improve your reporting. It will go a long way to also impact your decision making. And free adverts for CBA. CBA, I know, will hold your hand through the whole journey. And even after, they will still be there for you, because there are times that certain workload comes to me and I'm like, this one, if I don't run to CBA, I am doomed and I have to run to them. They always have my back. And so if you are confused, if you are still asking yourself, I didn't do math, I don't like numbers. Okay, I also don't like numbers, but I'm thriving. So this is me telling you that creativity can certainly go very, very well with analytics. And that's even going to make you, like, very special. All right, so that's my presentation for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please, can we do that? Thank you so much, Miss Ama Abe. We are grateful for all the educational insight you just gave us. It has also helped me, a marketer and creative person myself. Our next speaker is going to be breaking down the career pivot, how to rebrand your current experience into a high demand analytics role. And I'm very sure that is why most of us are here today, to be able to land ourselves job opportunities in the data analytics field. So our speaker is a multidisciplinary technologist dedicated to transforming complex data into high impact real world solutions. He bridges the gap between health informatics, fintech, and machine learning. He brings a unique research-driven perspective to the pursuit of AI for good. Having navigated the diverse landscapes of biotechnology, financial security, and clinical research, he excels at translating intricate computational models into actionable strategies for global innovation. Please let's give a warm applause to Prince Rockson, a data analytics and a change advisory board member at Halges Financial Technologies. Welcome, Ted.
Good evening. All right. So my name is Prince Rockson, and just as you have seen that's me. So today I'll be handling the career pivots, how to rebrand your current experience into a high demand analytics role. My first degree, I studied biological science, and after some years of practice, I actually did my service at the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. And after working with them for a while, I worked with a company with the Just One group. So that's where I picked everything from. And I realized I was more into research. I did a lot of things. I helped people do their research and stuff, but there was nothing to hold me down to it. So there was a day I just saw this ad. How many of you know about cookies? Cookies. Not biscuits, cookies. So cookies on phone and that. So you realize you may be talking, maybe listening to, let's say, your activities. I started, in fact, when we didn't go to your PBA, I was like, let me place the call. I did a call. I spoke with Steve. In case you don't know Steve, the gentleman in white behind you. So that's it. So we had a lengthy conversation, and after that, I think the 2 weeks later, I was in class. He took us through, and I realized there were some of the things that I was even doing, and I did not understand. I only did them for doing sake, and sometimes even to look at them from the professional side rather than the analytic side, rather than academic side. So I'm very, very, very well interested in academics. However, I'm also into professionals. So professionally, I'm a data analyst. Academically, I'm a health informatician. I do a bit of epidemiology, then health technologies as well. So the presenter, or let me say the host said multidisciplinary here. So I do a lot of things, small. Jack of all trades, master of all. Right. Okay, so we can start. So the paradigm shift. I just spoke about my paradigm. Can I please know what you do now?
I'm also a businessman.
A businessman, what do you do?
Yeah, okay, so I'm also going to school, yeah. Overseas, I assist people to travel overseas.
Assist people to travel. How many people did you help travel last year?
Last year, okay, so 9.
9.
Yeah.
And you made some good amount of money.
Yes.
Do you think this year you can make that 9?
This year.
Yeah.
Most of the year, so
Yeah.
no.
No. Why?
You know, normally look at, you know, US, but the US and Canada, because of, this waters and, Trump and that, therefore they are refusing this. So
They are refusing.
yeah.
So why are they refusing this? Is
You know, politics.
how many people have like for this is? So like you see his business,
Yeah.
but he doesn't really have data on that. Okay, so next person. Boss, what do you do?
I sell television.
You sell televisions. Which brand?
Samsung, that's cool.
Which brand do they buy more?
Samsung.
Samsung. Why?
Brand 50.
Brand was
Equity.
how did you arrive by that?
because brand sales, even though there's quality, but data sales, brand sales.
You are with the bank. So what's the information for? So I know someone here can help us and tell the difference between data and then information. By the time we finish, everyone would have spoken. Yes, so the next lesson. The difference between data and then information. Yeah, difference between data and information.
Between data and
Yeah.
so I don't want to go to the book aspect of information.
Don't go to the book. Okay.
So information is what you have kept. You have let's say you have heard, and the data you take data from the information you get.
Okay.
So that is the
All right. So yeah, I would like to hear another opinion. So
okay. So the data is basically the
raw file.
yeah, when you process that, then you get the
Yeah. So now if I say we are data rich information for what am I driving at?
So we have a lot of raw facts available to us, and we haven't processed it. So we need to process it. Then we get to make an informed decision.
Great, thank you. So I think when I was actually speaking about Ghana, and trust me, it's not there because I divide that. What I think before you speaking their language, when you're in Ghana, you cannot speak, and you be like, when? But he would have spent some years or some months learning about them, learning about their culture and everything. So yeah, just do it. We are the rich information for the data is all around us, but how we get to analyze them and then get into the data analytics aspect, whatever profession you are in. And good for us, the world is moving data driven and the world is also doing AI. AI comes from data analytics. So if you don't get yourself abreast with this, unfortunately, we will leave you behind. So today, if you are a boss or you are an owner and then you are using your guts to say something like, we have one man here, he says he supports people to do US and Canada travels, but he doesn't know whether he would or deny or he will not. Yeah, the man here keeps looking at me. Yeah, you don't remember. You just said it. And then you were sitting here. Right. Okay. So I think someone also spoke about this. So the traditional era, it's about gut feeling decisions. That's when your boss will tell you, I feel, let's bring academic brain to, okay, how many people are searching for this? So I'll do a market research to see the number of people with the region. And I'm actually looking for Ghana, so I'll look for the region that they are actually looking for, so that I'll be able to push through what I'm actually looking for. Okay, right. So we can have market research. Even before you bring out the product, you should have made sure it is viable, it can sell, and other things. But unfortunately, people don't do so. All of a sudden, you see the woman here, she sells Indomie. You see her selling Indomie at a place where they like Banku. You see someone, and the person will be like, they don't sell Indomie here, so if I start, they'll buy. Meanwhile, those people, they like Banku, they like Fufu, they like the local one. They are just like you. We like the local one. So data is all around us. You need to find out why. You need to find out how. You need to find out where. There are so many questions to ask, and it is only data analytics that can help us. We also have the static retro reporting. That is about the traditional. You can get to fly out this year, and then you can't tell because you are not even looking at it that side. What if the police arrest you? Anything can happen. Are you even looking at the risk involved, analyzing the risk involved, all of those things? You should be able to tell them. Then siloed manual operations. Can you help us with the word siloed? Siloed. You can't. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. I was in class with you.
Some wants to come from the word silent, which I think is a building to store excess.
Yeah.
So siloed. Okay. What point is it?
I don't understand. Charlie, someone should do it. Yeah, so yeah, that he has explained it here.
Which places they are not put together.
Wait. So he's saying they are separate. So for instance, you get to a company and then you realize there's has every that would help us say, all practicing this. You can't tell what to do. That is where this comes from. Then assumption-based leadership. So the trust unverified intuition as true. So you get someone who has been practicing for, let's say, an accountant or something, a finance person practicing for about 40 years. And then you enter as a data analyst. You've now finished your program 1 year. Then still the company is struggling because they want to listen to the person who has 40 years experience. They don't want to listen to you. That is the traditional era. At the moment, we are moving. That is why every company now is making room for a data analytics person everywhere, whether in business, in healthcare. So if you don't believe it, you can search. You can do when you go to Google to quotation marks, then you put the job you want to do, not a tech role, the job you want to do. Maybe communication. Then you put it there, then you add plus, then into brackets, analyst, and then you search. You can even add plus, then into brackets, quotation marks again, then Ghana, and then you realize whatever you are doing, whether communications, whether HR, whether even theft, crowded, do analytics. So, what is the AI future, the celestial AI future? We are talking about data-driven decisions. You make decisions that are based on evidence. You see A and you know it is A. You know that when I came with Google Map, when Na asked me how long it will take me to get here, I said 5:40. You know what? I didn't check. But when I took my map and I saw that and we have so let me give an example, a good example here. Assuming you live in Kaswa, you are supposed to report to work at 8, you work in Teman. Your reporting time is 8, that is your target, right? Then you set off at 6. Immediately you turn on your Google your products and works like then if you work only. So believe for you to become a data analyst, you need to be a tech inclined person. It's a fallacy. It's a fallacy. What data actually needs you to do is to be a master of whoever you are. So if you help people travel abroad, if you sell, whatever you do, data analytics needs you to understand what you do so that when you see the graph or you see the plot, you see the visuals, you are able to appreciate it. You are able to look at it and then take decisions. So, rebranding. So it says that solving over coding. So companies hire for business solution mechanics and not just syntax writing. So if you even know how to code and then you cannot interpret your visuals, you cannot interpret your data, then you are just like someone for the optimize system allocation via models. You build your own models and then your data always the systematic or case research, analytics equivalent, data analysis, and then modeling. This is where I love very much. And then assuming you also monitor daily flow in analytics, that means you are going to deal a lot with KPIs. If you're also looking at user or customer support, then that means you're also going to look at behavior and then sentiments analysis. Please, next slide. So what are some of the practical skill sets? One, we said the core mechanics. You can master basic SQL databases. how would I view SQL master basis? As Excel is the easiest way to learn SQL. And when the first speaker was speaking, I heard him mentioning some, this one, he was mentioning COBOL and other things. Like Excel alone is a powerful tool. There's another tool in it, Power Query, Data Solver, Analytics Solver, a lot of things in Excel. Once you're able to master Excel, transferring it also is very easy. By the time you learn how to even write the language of the Power Query, then you know that you already know how to do SQL. You already know how to do Excel. And by the time you realize, once you can do Python, you want to try and then build maybe a website on your own. And by the time you finish, you are doing something bigger than you even thought. Then very visible as possible. So what is the next generation AI integration? Utilize generative AI for syntax. It's not every time that you use them for your assignment. Use them as a co-pilot. So what you don't understand, it helps you. What you don't understand, it helps you. You try to build on your own, then you ask for clarifications. That is how we use it. But if you let it do the work for you, then trust me, like next 2-3 years, it will actually take your work from you. Then accelerate your scripting speed. It's this one. It's talking about coding. I'm against that. Then focus on critical thinking. Yeah, when I said I'm against that, he's confused. We are confused. Yeah. So, I'm saying that you should. It's better the first you get some basic SQL, critical thinking premium. So value is now concentrated in asking the right system questions. Then also we have context interpretation, where success relies on translating algorithmic outputs into human decisions. Right? Any question here? Right. Next slide. Right. So let's get to the rebranding and then execution. I think this would be my last session. Okay. So rebranding is not pretending. You're actually not pretending. If you want to see people pretending, go to LinkedIn and then you go and see someone is selling both fruits, and the way the person puts it, I sell mashed condo with what, and then by the time you finish, assuming you are mates with the person, you feel downplayed. But by the time you get to see what the person is doing, then you're like, hey, branding, papa. So rebranding is not pretending. It's a contextual shift. That is, you are translating your past achievements into clear, measurable data wins. Also, we talk about logical reframing. It demonstrates how previous field insights directly guide data analysis. Then when we talk about the business lens, we are looking at shifting emphasis from basic task execution to broad system level answers. So with your and look at plans before you view the rights with the Ministry of Communication over this data bill and stuff. So Ghana Ponyo Yepenita, then imagine you wanting a remote work. You definitely ask for certification. So ask for certification. So interactive dashboards. So as part of your proofs, so whatever things you try to build on your own, data get a door, so you can go to Kaggle, you can like data.in, data Bank of Ghana. There are so many places you can list data, and then you get data, then you try to find some insight from them. Then you solve some real inefficiencies. That is what I've just mentioned. So we can move on. Okay, so 5-step career pivots framework. 1, you have to conduct an audit. You look at yourself. You say what you cannot do, what you can do. Be truthful to yourself, and then you map them out and see some of the skills you can transfer. So just look at yourself, and then what, like currently, what you do very well, and then you see how you can transfer that to your next data analytics role. So 2, acquire. So now that you know that you like talking, so you can be a very good storyteller. Then that is a data storyteller. So now you have to acquire the skills of being a good data storyteller. Then 3, you build. So when you build them, that's where the portfolio comes in. You show them. You don't hide them. You show them so that people get to know that this is what you've done. You've done A, you've done B, you've done C. Then brand. You add brand. Then to yourselves. So when like my previous role, on my appointment letter, it was quality control. But because I was looking for a data analytics role, I changed it to data quality analyst. The network. It's good to network. Networking now is the currency for success. So that's last. So at UTA, so many competitors and 95% competitiveness. Luckily for us here, we do everything for you. But even you look at your series, you'll be there and they'll call you. Charlie, you are the one who does the take people outside, or you are the one who is into marketing. There's a job for you. You just don't take it. Yeah, where I work right now, still share the job with me. Right, next slide. What modern employers hunt for? So they hunt for people with real world solutions. That is, you demonstrate the direct business context behind every business dashboard that is built. Then also critical alignment. That is the unique ability to isolate critical values from chaotic data streams. Then cohesive storytelling. The storytelling there is important too. You need to talk. So if you are shy of talking in public, this is where you learn how to do that. Because once you create the dashboards, once you're able to get the insight, you should be able to communicate it. There are people who look at it and then not like they won't understand it. But then when you're able to talk to it, in fact, once you start telling the story about the data, they get to understand what you are saying. Then collaborative action, you have to also learn how to build cross-functional bridges between them.
Thank you so much. Oh yeah, you can have a seat, please. Can we do it once more? Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Prince. That was a very good one. Thank you so much for making the real world case studies like very visible and very practical for us to see and analyze in our minds with you today. That was a very good one. Please can we give him a round of applause again? All right, so we've been talking and spending the day talking about the power of data, the shifting it's making in the industry, the massive skills gap that exists right now. You might be sitting there wondering, this is great, but how do I bridge this gap? What is my take home day? How do I become the person that can look into raw data like very well and drive multi-million-dollar decisions? True of course. To be able to make money, serve people, and then always make sure that our impact is felt, true of course, in whatever we're doing. So before we leave here, I would want to introduce our final speaker who is going to help us bridge every information that we have learned here and make sure that we have a very good take home today. He is the person of Mr. Stephen Obeng-Kwarteng. Mr. Stephen is the Executive Director of the Center for Business Analysis. He is going to be speaking on data analytics programs and answer all our questions today. So with a round of applause.
All right, good evening.
Do you have a problem with me?
Good evening. Okay, thank you all for joining us at the Center for Business Analysis. Basically, what we do day in, day out is to build professionals and position them and make them future ready. All right. Now, the only constant thing happening is change. All right. So if you don't change, right, you'll be left behind. All right. I know a guy who used to work with one of the telcos, cohorts. He would call me and say, for the next cohort, I will register. They did that for like 3 to 4 years. And then what I call it was around 5 years. Now this guy has an intern in giving full-time employment. And guess what the difference was? Microsoft Excel couldn't use it effectively. So they gave the position to the employee who once was reporting to him. And the guy was just venting all his anger on me. I mean, I have a lot of patience. I will soak everything. All right. When Maame Ama was speaking, said she called and she spoke to someone. It was me. I have all the patience. You can call and talk to me for 2 hours. Sometimes I feel bored. I want people to call so that we talk. All right. So we have been in this business for 7 years and still counting. On top of my head, we are keeping the tally, but I think we've trained well over 6,000 professionals, both in business analysis and data analytics. All right. So when we say we are giving you a skills or a skill that will be valuable for you now and in the future, we know, look at that based in Canada. You know, so we run with some kind of international standards, all right? So that when you take a training here, you write the certification and pass anywhere you find yourself in the world, it will be recognized and you can work with that, all right? So you can check out IIBA and go and check if truly CBA is an endorsed education provider. The list is there. And then we have expert facilitators, and these are industry professionals. They have been in it, like Bright is one of our facilitators, right? He's GRA, just name it, right? So one thing is someone who has the same thing over and over that you do. They've seen it all. They've seen all the challenges, the problems. So they are not just facilitators. They are mentors who will guide you through your data analytics journey. All right. And then we don't just come and teach you theory. All right. It is practical, hands-on. By the time we end with you, after the 12 weeks, we are sure, that is our promise to you, that you are prepared for industry. Note, data analytics is a field. We can't tell you that within 12 weeks, you have become a professional, like a top-notch. When we tell you that, we are lying to you. But in this field, it is practice that will make you perfect. If you learn the data analytics, go and sleep. After 1 month, if you come back, there are a lot of updates. It's a fast-moving environment, all right? And then you'll be doing A way, B way. You'll be looking for your icons left and right. So it is something you need to practice daily, on a daily basis, all right? So if you want to be the likes of Prince Rockson, Harunas, the Brights, and the Stevens, you need to practice daily. All right. Then the last thing, we have a program, right? Is that if you want, we can give you a little alumni. Just call anybody randomly, right? Just ask them, how was your training with TBA, right? So if you want to try it, one day come. We'll give you the list. Just point. Once you point, you say, okay, let's call this person. And they will tell you, all right. But there are some category of people, they come to the training, they don't take it serious. Especially those who get sponsored by companies. I know one gentleman who was in a class, It's like every week when he comes, 1, 2 is on the phone, he goes out. And then the 12 weeks, the last day, people are in the Musu. So they go. Only for me to find out that he was being sponsored. All right. And one guy too was sitting beside a lady, like you are sitting beside a lady. His concentration, all that he learned. So now we have decided if you come and give another invoice before you leave the training. The guy was like, it's some way. Say it will be some way too for you. All right. So it's not a smooth journey. We will not tell you. We try to break it down as much as possible. But if you are determined, trust me, after the 12 weeks, just a few weeks or months of practice, you should be there. All right. Now, as I said, we are an endorsed education provider for IIB, and every year we renew. So we are actually in good standing. You go to their website, you can check. In July, we are going to renew. And go and check, we will be there. All right. And we have trained for a lot of organizations, right? Some brought their people to train with us. There are some too that we have done corporate trainings for. We can't list all of them. All right. Now, these are typical pictures in our training rooms. We used to be at the National Banking College, but now we are at East Legon. Okay, so this is our new training facility. All right. By far, this is our biggest hall. Right. Then we have 2 medium-sized hall and 1 small one. But if you enroll in the data analytics, this will be your classroom. All right. Now, one good thing is we are not just training you. We are always looking out for opportunities. And before I come to this, I am happy to announce that August 15, our first cohort from Ghana to London-based business school will be happening. We're leaving Kotoka to London for a 2-week educational workshop or tour. All right. So these are opportunities that we are looking out for all our alumni. All right. And if you can check Base Business School in the whole of UK, I think they are number 2 or number 3 top university. Their certificates, you don't even know anything. People can all right. So another opportunity is that we have an agreement with Capital Placement. They are well known for internship placement. International internships, not local. All right. And they are heavy in the UK, US, and Singapore. All right. And they work with lots of organizations. All right. Let's go. Right. They work in lots of organizations. And I'm sure just at a glance, there are some of the companies you can easily tell you know them. Right. The PwCs, the McKinseys, the Samsung, the IBMs, and all that. All right. And this is not just hearsay. We've had some of our alumni taking up this opportunity. All right. And some are even working in London as I speak. Right? So Jude, let's go on.
My name is Samuel Adam.
Once you take the course, the opportunity, if you are interested to have an international internship, you can do it online. You can go there in person. All right. But if you are going there physically, it's quite high than the online. All right. But the investment you put in it is actually worth it. And for the lack of time, move to the next 2 slides. I just want you to hear firsthand what some of our participants have been saying. And that is Maame Ama for you after the last day. All right. So let's hear.
Our class was very insightful, extremely exciting. To surprise you, when you get data analytics, you think it's not exciting, but it was really exciting. It was truly insightful, and I would say it was eye-opening because we learned so many things we didn't expect. Me especially, I was so scared I thought I wasn't even going to make it through the 10 weeks of the class, but I did. I'm extremely confident about my skills and knowledge I have gained, and I know this is a very good investment for me. And I would encourage everybody who wants to grow and develop in their career or whichever field they find themselves that they want to grow and develop to take this class, because data is where the world is heading towards. We are done working with assumptions. We are looking at facts. We are looking at what the numbers are saying. And so this class is the class you have to be in. And really, I did it. You can.
All right. So these are numerous testimonies. We have them. So from next week, if you are following our socials, you'll be seeing the testimony. Hopefully, you will see a friend or a brother that you know. All right. In there. All right. Dude, let's move on. Now, who can take this course? Right. The certification body itself has removed any eligibility requirement. All right. But they advise that you need to have at least 2 years working experience. But for us at CBA, because of the level of thinking and reasoning, we don't just admit anyone. You need to have a minimum of an HND or a first degree to participate in the course. Someone said, oh, but I'm also in the university, I've not finished. Don't worry. You can participate. All right. Maybe you have the work experience, you're not too sure and all that. Just give us a call. And the numbers will be posted on the screen for you. All right. And let's talk. We will ask you some few questions. If you don't qualify, we'll tell you that. Hold on another time. Okay. All right. Jude, let's move on. I think the career opportunities, we've spoken about that so much. But one thing I want to touch on is that, you see, irrespective of the field you find yourself, you can either use analytics to augment what you do and make you more efficient and more effective. Or you can decide that you take it as a new career field altogether. So one good thing is that it is applicable in every field. So wherever you find yourself, all right, even in religion. I had a pastor who now is in Scotland. I met in the UK last year. He was a student cohort 20. Now, do you remember his name? There was a Reverend cohort 20. Forgotten. And I was like, when I got to know he was a pastor, I said, Pastor, what are you doing here? This thing you don't know. Apparently, he was analyzing, he's categorized his sermons. All right. And sometimes, like the sermon he preaches, especially if it is a series, like he has a series of sermons, determines the outcome in terms of attendance and sometimes the offering. So he has he's tallied his messaging to the offering that he receives. All right. So if pastors are moving away, they are not moving away from the Bible. They are adding data to the Bible. Who are you as a finance person or a marketing not to add data analytics to what you do? No, it's not him. I don't want to mention it. You are mentioning it. Let's go. All right. So what are you going to learn actually when you face this? First phase is 12 weekends of practical training. It stands on. All right. But when it comes to preparing you for the exam and also industry practices, we will follow these. We have the practitioner view. That is what you will do in your day-to-day activity as a data analyst. And then we have the organizational view. All right. How an organization in its own lecture. All right. The team will help you also to do all your installations. Okay. And when we have a first lecture, that week, during the weekdays, we have Excel 101 training for Microsoft Excel. We start with the very, very basics. So that by week 2, when we start with data cleaning in Excel, week 4, Roxanne mentioned Power Query in Excel. We'll look at that. It's a very powerful tool. Then we'll look at data modeling in Excel. Then we'll build our dashboards in week 6. Now, week 7, we'll look at custom columns in Microsoft Power BI. So when we say custom columns, we don't just jump to it. You will have the introduction, the Power BI, the interface, what Power BI. We'll look at custom column calendars. Then we'll look at KPIs, right? I'm sure we all have KPIs in our various workplaces. How do you even visualize them? We'll take a look at that. Then we'll look at SQL introduction, then SQL for analytics. Above all this, there is a bonus lecture for you in Tableau. That is done purely online, right? So if you come, one guy was like, come to yourself. Let's go. So there are a lot of practical things we'll be looking at, right? This is one example. We'll be starting slowly. This is just like the basics. Let's assume all of us work for one company. All right, you are in region 1, region 2. We want to find out who the best employee is. All right, you have a top. All right, then we have time series. How do you treat data over time? All right, last 10. Can we go into how can we filter it to get a certain picture? All right, out of the data. All right, we will look at all that. And then we look at this one, Contoso, is my favorite, all right, topic. It's more like a fictional company. Those of you who are very old and started using computer in the early 2000s, all right, you realize that Microsoft used to have, I think they still have it, not Wind. It was more like a fictional company that we used to practice with. There is an upgrade in several continents and countries. So such a huge company. How are you able to analyze the data all over and know which store or country is profitable and all that? We will look at all those things. All right. And then we will become prophets. We will learn how to predict what is likely to happen in the future. All right. You know, the pastors and the malams, when they are predicting the elections, they say, if we don't pray, all right. If it happens, they say, yes, they were the first to. If it doesn't happen, so they prayed to avert. All right. But this one, it will be backed by data, and we are super sure that this is what is likely to happen, all things being equal. All right. Now, these are just a few. All right. We'll look at other things. So now, you also have a capstone project. What do we mean by a capstone project? It is not a project with a stone or cap on it. It's a major where you have learned from week 1 to the last day. You are really up to the task. Now we've decided if you don't present your capstone project, The certificate is not cheap. We will not graduate you. There are group assignments we give to participants, 6 or 7, and then you also present your projects. Right? I know how group works. Some people, you don't see them. Presentation day, they are there. Okay. There was a video I was watching online, and there was a group work. And one guy was talking. Then the lecturer asked the person, like, this guy, you come, like, and the guy can say, oh, sir, oh. I said, no, it's you. I said, oh, sir, you give me tea, because he doesn't know what is happening. All right. Okay. Now, I'm talking about money. This is where when it is in church, they are playing instruments, we tell everybody to keep quiet. All right. So the training fee is not expensive. All right. Because you have all these things in addition to preparing you for the international certification exam, the IIBA certification. All right. So to participate, your registration or admission fee is 250 cedis. The tuition, 5,550 Ghana cedis. We don't take everything at a go. All right. We know inflation is down, but things are so difficult. So you can pay in 3 installments. Okay. You can bring antenna 2,000, another 2,000, and then another 1,550. If you pay everything, you will get a hug. All right. If you're a guy, so maybe you likely get a peg. Okay. So we have installment payments for you, so that once you are starting, you make your down payment, then every other month you make your payment. But by the time we are done, you make sure that you are fully paid up. All right. Now, as I said, the training is structured such that the first phase is 12 weekends. That is 3 months. For the first phase, you either come in person Saturday here, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We are closed. All right. Sometimes the class can be enjoyable. And you see, Bright is closing. They say, no, we want to continue. So if we even drag like 2:10, okay. So whatever done in person on Saturday is, you cannot be greedy. You can only attend one. If you miss the Saturday, you join the online on Sunday. You cannot attend both. Unless maybe you came in person, for example, you have a problem with your laptop or something. You speak with the course administrators that this is your situation. Then we can admit you. And if you don't join with your name, you will be in the waiting room till we close. We have to join with your full name that you have registered with us. Okay. Now, once we are done with the 12 weeks, we have 4 weeks of exam preparation. And it's very intensive. I've read the data analytics guide. All right. And then we will go into the exam preparation. If you have not read, we will know. Because every week before we start a new class, there's a summary of the reading plan that we give you during the week to get you ready. It becomes a very smooth journey. As I said, if you have time to commit to it, you will be successful in it. All right. We all know Bill Clinton, right? Who doesn't know Bill Clinton? Do we know him? Oh, do we know him? Okay. Do we know Monica Lewinsky, the girlfriend? American presidents arguably are one of the most busiest people time for Monica Lewinsky. How busy are you? Are you busier than the American president? So if you have time, or you commit to it rather, you will actually make time for it. no matter how busy you are. I know people who are very, very busy and they commit to it and boom. All right. So that is it for it. I think the last slide. To register, simple, go to our website, centerforanalytics.com. The center is CENTRE for analytics.com. There's apply button, you select the course, and then you pay for your registration fee. There are people who just pay and it's like, oh, I'm registered. No. When you pay, just wait for like 2-3 seconds. You'll be redirected to fill out a form for us. All right. There's many a times we have to call people. Oh, you've sent us money, but I didn't fill the form. All right. Sometimes it happens. Okay. So our next cohort, 27th of June, right? That's about, if I'm not mistaken, 4 to 5 weeks from today. And we have how many registrations? Like 28. Okay, 28 registrations. Right? So the class is like about half full now. So if you want to register, you book your seat as early as possible. We've had situations that people will just walk in Saturday and the lecture is happening. All right. And then we're like, oh, we can even stand. No, we will not admit you. First now say, oh, you can, no, this time we've made plans for the number of people we are expecting. If you come on the D-Day and say that, oh, I didn't register, I forgot to register, you are actually worrying the team. You are breaking our processes. All right. So please, you do so. Okay. That is 27th of June and it's happening right here. If you are unable to come in person, you join the online. All right. We also have business analysis certification. All right. I'm not going to talk about that, but that is starting this weekend. Okay. Dude, I don't like the work you are doing for me. Where is my business analysis? You skip it. It's all right. All right. Anytime, any day, you can walk into our offices Monday to Friday. All right. From 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We close at 4:30. So don't come here 4:30 when we are closing. We will not mind you. So come here by 4. So that whatever you have to do by 30 minutes will be done. All right. On Saturday, we are here 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sometimes to 6 p.m. But officially, we are here up to 2 p.m. All right. You can always call us 0246809200. When you call, most likely about 90% of the time, if I'm not teaching, all right, I'll be the one to answer the call. If you feel bored, just call me. We will talk. Okay. All right. You can send us an email, info@centerforanalytics.com. All right. Thank you so much for coming. We really, really appreciate. We don't take it for granted. We know we are very busy professionals. All right. You did not come early. All right. So about 5 of you that I can quickly put my eye to that came really on time. But we really appreciate you. All right. Media handles, just call us. Go to. There are questions. Okay. All right. Then let me try and see if I can answer them. Thankfully, Bright and Prince are here. In case, thank you. As speaker spoke about the industries like the media, medical, marketing, and how analytics are important in there. My question is, as a foundation that is 10 years now, how do you think we can use analytics in what we do, and what aspects do you think we can, please? We haven't been doing any analytics for all this while, and I'm sure it can be done. So I will need this to work. I will need this to work on that. Oh, then your problem is no problem. Chief, just give us a call all right, or send us a WhatsApp or an email. Your problem there is like when Bright is even sleeping, Bright can solve your problem. It deals with bigger data, all right. Karuna will also always say, if your data is not scaring you, there is no data. So far, we are yet to meet any data that will scare us. Okay. All right, so thank you so much. And then if you have any questions here among our audience, let me know. Okay. Okay, Chief.
Sorry, I wanted to ask, without going into technical space, like being technical, how does one interact with the market to extract information? For example, I want to start up a new business, let's say in home tuition, and I want to understand the industry of home tuition, like what's existing. And the reason I'm asking is in the situation where data hasn't been collected, but you are trying to interact with a system like already available, how do I extract that data?
Okay, so in our side of the world, a lot of data is not being collected. However, a lot of data is also being collected. So you may have to search and search deeper. Institutions like ISEC, I worked there at Noguchi cumulatively 10 years. A lot of research is happening there. Right? And some they publish on their site, I don't know if they still do, right? That you can search. In addition, Ghana Statistical Service, there's a lot of data you can get from there. Sometimes maybe not directly on home tuition, but you can just check the demographics, all right? And it will give you an idea or some insights to help you in your planning and strategy, all right? So you may have to do a deeper search on that. And sometimes maybe Rockson was saying a simple Google search, and you get to know that, oh, no, your data exists for this, all right? And there are a lot of organizations doing a lot of research work. They publish them, some don't, so you can check that out. Okay, that's your last question.
Yes. I wanted to ask the fee for 5,000. Does it cover the certification?
No, my apologies. The certification exam is exclusive. The exam fee is $305 US, 305. All right, but prepare for like 315 or 20, because when you are transferring the bank charges and all that. All right, and you write the exam anytime you are ready. And one good thing about our structure is that when we are done and you are not ready to write the exam, don't be in a rush. Let's say after 1 year, if you are ready to write, you are at liberty to join the next exam prep. So your current cohort, you do an exam prep, all right? Then whenever you are ready, the next one, just let us know. We'll add you. We won't take you a dime, all right? And then you can join, prepare, and then write the exam.
Thank you.
Okay, last one.
So, Sir Bright spoke about okay, all right. So no, I think
Prince.
Yeah.
Prince rather.
You spoke about storytelling. Okay, that's supposed to know how to tell a story when it comes to data. Very, very important. But therefore, things that is going to be taught.
Because you didn't see storytelling.
Yes, because you see, in our traditional market like this, they don't use data. You will go and buy a product and realize that the product has expired. So how are you going to do that?
Oh, okay. So the storytelling part, even though it's not stated explicitly, is part of the whole thing, right? when you create your dashboard, the data should be telling story. Okay, so we will take you through all that. Tableau makes it very simple and easy. Yeah. So it's all parts of the training. That's why you do your project, right? As a data analyst, if I put a dashboard and I'm presenting it to maybe an executive board and all that, you need to be able to speak to your visuals and tell the story behind the data, right? It's part of the skills you have to hone as a data analyst. It's not just about building nice dashboards. That one day, everyone can do. Even now, these days, if you're able to use AI well to assist you, can do all those things. But how are you able to tell that story? How are you able to gain the insights that will create value for the organization? Okay. If there are more questions, our time is up. For someone who is unemployed and wants to join this course, is the person guaranteed that after the program and passing the IB exams and earning a certification, the person can land a job in the business data analytics field? I've written my own Bible. It's a data analytics Bible. Chapter 4, verse 1. Right? The Christians, we say that seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all other things shall be what? Okay. My Bible, chapter 4, verse 1, says that seek ye first the knowledge, the practical skills, and the understanding of the trade, and all other jobs shall be added unto you. If you believe, say amen. Amen. You see, it is not just about, I won't promise you that the moment you are done, you will get a job. It is about you, your ability to learn and master the skill. All right? Bright is here. Bright is here. You can ask him the number of jobs he's been getting. But there are jobs that I don't do. The one I see the money is too small. I call them kapoko money. Those. Let everybody know that you are the go-to person when it comes to analytics. Build your portfolio. The jobs will come to you. Someone said, I beg, the maths, is it plenty? That's the last question I will ask. I think Maame Ama mentioned it. You see, it is true, you need mathematics for data analytics. But the tools that we are using make it very simple. You don't need to do a lot of mathematics to come out with insights and all that. All right. Unless, of course, maybe you want to go into very deep data science where you'll be using Python programming and be doing all those regression analysis with the codes and all that. All right. But the tools we are using are called graphical user interface, where you click, drag and drop, all right, to do your analysis. So it makes it much, much easier. So the maths is not plenty. Thank you. All right. So on this note, we say a very big thank you to all of you. And we really, really appreciate your time. The online audience, I think the last time I checked, there were about 83 online. We are very grateful to all of you. And thank you so much. Madam, do you have anything for us or we are done? All right. So on this note, we say God bless you and have a good evening.